we move ahead with the next rock star speaker. We have a person who has won the Karmaveer Puraskaar in 2011, Subha, Rajan, Tampi, who's going. Subha works with the CII, and she's been with them for a long, long time. Works very closely with industry, trying to promote human capitalism. That's a common mission and vision that we share. And Subha is going to talk about ability to turn adversity into a virtue. Put your hands together for Subha, Rajan, Tampi, please.
Jerry, Meenu, fellow laureates, and those who are going to win. Hearty congratulations to you, and I know how thrilled I was when I got this very prestigious award a couple of years ago, and I know how wonderful, the wonderful work this organization is doing. Especially, I love their motto of righting every wrong. In my case, I don't know how many wrongs I've righted, but my life is something I asked him, what should I talk about? And he said, just talk your life. So this title, I give credit to my friend Premila of the Delhi Diary, who wrote an article about me. And she came to interview me about my job in the corporate, and she ended up writing my story. And she said, you're a person who turned adversity into a virtue. You may wonder how I did it. So I have to tell you a small story of my life. We were victims of a civil war in Africa, in Liberia, in the 90s, where we were caught in the war, where my husband was kidnapped. He was working in a bank. We were living in a penthouse with 2 Mercedes-Benz and a luxurious life where you sneezed, you were flown to Switzerland for treatment, money, traveling first class all over the world. But I learned one thing very fast, rather young in life, as a young girl, bride with 2 small kids, and I learned that nothing in life is permanent. Overnight, the civil war broke out. We were caught up in our penthouse. We couldn't get out. There was fighting and shooting going on all over. People, there was no food to eat very soon. My husband being in the bank, he was kidnapped. He was asked for the key of the locker, which he did not have. It was an international bank. And very soon I learned what it is to be hungry, what it is to be without food. And very soon I learned that you can have everything in the world and have nothing the next day. I'll cut a long story short. At some stage, my dream is to write a book. And when that dream is if it's ever fulfilled, I hope all of you will buy the book and read it, because there I will tell you what a woman can go through and how she can fight and survive and come out of it. Fortunately, my kids and we came out in the last flight that came out from Liberia. We came back to India, penniless, broke, with just our clothes on our back. Nothing else. I had lost my certificates, I had lost my jewels, we had lost every penny we had saved. At first I thought I'll go back to my hometown, Kerala, but I realized that Kerala had no opportunities, and though I come from a very rich family, my husband belongs to the royal family of Kerala, that is when I discovered that when you have everything, the whole world is looking at you. When you have nothing, there are very, very few people to help you. Most people, even your rich relatives, will look the other way. They'll be afraid, here is a young woman with 2 kids. Will she become a burden on us? Will she land in our doorstep? Will she ask for her property? Will she want her money? I realized that the hard way. So I decided to come to Delhi. I didn't speak a word of Hindi. I hardly knew anybody in Delhi, but I decided to come here and face my battle myself, to fight my ghost myself. I came here. There were some people who were nice to me. Without a certificate, Mr. Tarun Das was kind enough to give me a job in the CII in the lowest level because I had lost everything. There, I learned how it is to survive, to work hard, but I said, I used the title, which if you Google my name, you'll see the article, Never Say Die. Don't give up. The first 3 years in Delhi were miserable for me. As a young woman, a strange woman in Delhi, you can imagine how it was. Men took you for granted. You were branded. You were singled out. If you said you were married, they asked you where your husband was. And if you said you didn't know, they thought you said it because you were available. And if you said you were not married, they still thought you were available and didn't want to say you were married. I went through those hard times when I didn't even know whether to call myself Miss Rajan or Mrs. Rajan, because either way it was a catch-22 situation. I was caught. But I decided I will make this adversity into a virtue. So I fought. There were days I had to sleep in the railway station. There were days I had to go without food. But I said, never mind, I will not give up. Delhi society can be very good on one side and very cruel on another side. When you work in an organization like CII, you have to attend cocktails, parties, national days, and the first thing they ask you is, where do you stay? And if you say you are staying in some barsati somewhere, immediately you're dropped. And they judge you by which car you have come, the perfume you're wearing. It took a long time for me to make them realize I'm a woman with brains, I'm not just a face. And there's something beyond all this. There is a woman with sensitivity, emotion, intelligence, who can come up in the corporate world. Fortunately, people were nice to me. I won't say the whole world was bad. There were bureaucrats who were nice to me. There were some corporate people, I can name them, Godrej, Rahul Bijaj, who though they didn't know my background, were very nice to me. Ratan Tata, these are my role models of people who were generally nice to me. There were ministers who were nice. There were ministers who were horrendous to me. There were also politicians who were terrible, but I won't go into all that. But one has to learn to take the wheat with the grain. One has to learn where to put them aside and take what talents you have and put it to work. So I worked hard. Fortunately, my kids were intelligent. They studied on their own. They got scholarships. And they were able to do it themselves because I didn't have any money to put them in fancy schools and things like that. But they were intelligent young children, and they managed to work on their own and stand on their own feet. My husband, meanwhile, had been very severely wounded in Liberia, both mentally and physically. He got a stroke, he got cerebral malaria. He fainted in the beach in Sierra Leone in West Africa. For days together, I did not know whether he was dead or alive. There were days together when I didn't know what to tell people who I am. But finally, by the grace of God, he did come back. But he was a changed man. He could never work again. His complete left side, he had an accident from earlier time. But after this, he had been beaten up and his entire left side was paralyzed. He could never work after that. So I had to become the sole breadwinner for the family. I worked day and night. There were days I had to go at 2 in the night and stand in front of a minister's house with my hands folded to get something done. Sometimes it was at the cost of my reputation, a young woman coming out from somewhere. But I was so scared I'd lose my job. Today you can empathize with me. I said, my God, if I don't do it, I'll lose my job. My children would starve. My husband can't work. And I kept at it. And I kept at it. And somewhere up there, a guardian angel helped me. Somewhere there was a God who helped me. And somewhere there were nice people who helped me. I had good neighbors. I had a wonderful doctor next door. Vikram Jaggi is sitting here. I met wonderful people in the course of my journey. And then I decided that now it's time. I came up in CII. I became a part of the World Economic Forum. I traveled to Davos. I hobnobbed today with the who is who of the world, with Obama, Clinton, Putin. Benazir Bhutto became my personal friend. Every time she came here, we traveled together to Ajmer. So my adversity became a virtue. I would have been a rich housewife sitting in a penthouse. But I came down, fell down, got up and came up, and climbed up in a different kind of a way. As a housewife, I would not have hobnobbed with Yasser Arafat, Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair. Today, I have wined and dined with every head of state, almost every head of state in the world. It's either with the king of Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, anybody, it's my job. I'm there, I'm with them, I'm one-to-one with them. I got the confidence, because of my adversity, I got the confidence to look at them eye to eye, talk to them, and not feel that I'm a woman, or I'm an Indian woman, or I'm a poor woman, that I am Indian, I am a woman, and I'm proud of it. And I was proud of it. I was proud that I could carry the flag of India to 101 countries in the world. I've traveled all over the world. I've just come back now from Switzerland, from Davos, where I hobnobbed with Hillary Clinton was there. You name it. Bill Gates was there. We were all in the room next to each other. We breakfasted together. Everybody was there. So if God says if he closes a window somewhere, he opens a door somewhere else. In my case, that was it. He closed a door somewhere, but he opened a bigger door for me somewhere else. I'm here. I have the confidence to stand here and talk to you today because of what I went through. The sufferings I went through as a younger woman. The humiliation I went through. It was not easy, believe me. There are nights together I cried. There were nights when people would badmouth me. What is this woman doing? She's single. She doesn't know where her husband is. There were very often, I just felt like going and jumping under a train or something like that. I said, no, one day I'll prove to the world that a woman can survive in any society. Delhi, a South Indian woman from Trivandrum, that's me, will survive in Delhi society, gain respect, and make it. So today when I speak to you, I feel vindicated at last that I have made it in life. I don't know if I've taken 15 minutes, have I? So I'll finally end by saying thank you to all of you and saying that there is, besides a human being, somebody else also has inspired me. Can you guess who it is? It's an animal. Anybody can guess? Come on, just make a guess. Huh? Dogs have inspired me, but in this case, it's a tigress. And her name is Machli, and she's a tigress who was almost killed by a crocodile, but she got up, she survived. She's back fighting in Ranthambore. She's the oldest tigress in the wild today. Can you guess how old she is? I'll give this calendar to anybody who can guess how old Machli is. This is a gift for you. In the wild, they normally live only 10, but can you guess how old she is? 19. Who guessed that? Congratulations. May I have your name, please? Will you give a big hand to Ram Prakash? Can you come up here? I'd like to give you this. Thank you, Jeremy, for giving me a chance to let myself speak.
Thank you, Subha. You can just take the stage up there because we'll have some questions and answers.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So do we have any questions for Subhaji? Ability to turn adversity into a virtue. She's told you the story by narrating her own story. And that's transformation. Do we have any reflections or questions for Subhaji?
Okay. While I was listening to you, thank you for that story, because I think not just that it is something that shows us the power within us, and it is inspiring. I wanted to just ask you, because I work around people a lot and around people building. Can you just specify that one or two things that sort of asked you to get up and start moving again?
One or two things that...
One or two things that, because all through this adversity, I know a lot of pain and hurt that you may have gone through. But what are those one or two things, if you could specify and say, okay, this is what actually got me up and got me moving?
Maybe the faces of my children.
Okay.
At one stage, when I felt I cannot let them down under any circumstances, to see a young boy and a young girl.
How old were your children then?
They were tiny kids at that time.
Okay.
And I looked at their faces and I said, they don't have a father. It's only a mother who is there right now. And whatever happens, I should never let them down, you know.
Yes.
Maybe that was one case. And maybe there was another time when a lady humiliated me very badly. I still remember that. She insinuated something against me when I had gone to meet her, and I won't go into the details.
I can sort of guess what must have happened.
You can imagine. And
yes.
the saddest part was, this lady was sort of remotely even related to me. And when I went to meet her, I mean, I may get emotional when I say this, forgive me if I do. I still remember at that time I was a nobody. This was a long time when I was at my pits. And she, first of all, she acted very rude. She made, and then when I went out, somebody else walked in and he asked her, do you know her? And she was related to me. And she said, who is she? I've never seen her before. And she's someone I've known from childhood, who's related to me. But she was saying, I don't know her. I don't even want to know who she is. Who is she? And I said, today, she comes to me for help. I'm helping her. She had a problem. I was the only one who went out of my way to help her today. So I felt the world had taken a complete circle. Yes. I did not keep any vengeance. But that one statement she made, you know, who is she? I don't know her. So this gentleman came out and said, you told me you're related, but that lady says she doesn't even know you. I said, one day I'll make her sit up and say, yes, she knows me. Yeah. And she's related to me. And that's exactly what happened. And you've done a
great job of it. Thank you. Inspired.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Abaji. Thank you, Shubhaji.